How is he supposed to fix the Athletics now? Did they really fire him? I can't believe they've done it.
Hello everyone and welcome back. We are finally back to making Oakland Athletics franchise videos. It is about time. It's been like 4 months since I made the last one. In case you have no idea what's going on here, I'm Steven. This is Second Level Sports. I've been playing through an Oakland Athletics video game series on MLB The Show. And what we're trying our best to do is go for our 10th banner. Yeah, somehow the Oakland Athletics of all teams have won 9 World Series championships in the past. And we are going for our 10th. And after 10, we are done. Now that's going to be a little bit tough because the Oakland Athletics roster that I started with at the very beginning of this series was awful. So right at the start of the year, I got to work in crafting some extra players, getting a better team to at least begin the year with. Before the season started, I knew we needed pitching. We needed pitching in a bad way. So we went out and got Dustin May from the LA Dodgers, and we got several relief pitchers, which actually made our bullpen quite good. What resulted in that was kind of still a below average team. I kind of got rid of any outlying veteran pieces that we straight up did not need. And then we started the season. So throughout the season, we've more or less had a below average record because Dustin May and Mason Miller cannot be your only pitching rotation, and your only bat being Brent Rooker helps nothing at all. So what I have done is actually split this video up into 2 parts. This part was kind of just going to be an overview, and then we're going to get a very special draft analysis from the Loudmouth Sports Network's broadcaster Clay. So he's going to give us a little bit of a draft analysis, and then in the next video, I'm going to go over all of the trades and our draft picks that we did end up getting. So we're just going to start next week right off with the draft and all of our free agency picks and just see where the team is at that point. But at this point, we have a very underwhelming team. At this point, I don't even think the Oakland Athletics are going to get an all-star. But we actually did get several rising star prospects, and we got our all-star because, well, the MLB is required to. So at this point, I am going to turn it over to our broadcaster Clay, who actually scouted for us and did some draft analysis. Take it away, Clay.
Thanks, Steve. Getting to work on this draft class presented some challenges, but nonetheless, I found some interesting players that I think we can work with. The Athletics will have 7 picks to work with, 2 in the first round and 1 pick in the remaining rounds. If I'm honest, this class actually provides an opportunity to add depth. Based on my scouting, I'm not really too impressed with the top of the board. And what I mean by that, there really isn't that player that just outright blows me away. There's not a Paul Skeens in this draft class. There's not a Jackson Holliday in this class. There's not a Derek Jeter in this. There's not a guy that I peg as a future Hall of Famer in this class. What I wanted to do was give you some options down the board to work with. So I sacrificed doing a lot of work at the top in the first round. Starting with my top 10 ranked players. We're going to start at the top with third baseman Corey Hamm, followed by left-handed pitcher Andreas Cedeno, center fielder Brandon Maynard, right fielder Amari Campaneris, right-handed pitcher Roger Osuna, center fielder Heath Gilchrist, shortstop Dan Grantham, right-handed pitcher Aaron Sexton, right-handed pitcher Salomon Rode, and right-handed pitcher Eric Reed. These players are going to be all first-round guys, so we're not going to be able to draft all of them. In fact, we're probably only going to be able to land one of them unless one of those pitchers towards the bottom of the list happens to slide to the tail end of the first round or early in the second round. I've narrowed down a list even further of 13-ish players that I think we have the ability to get at various points in the draft. They all have intriguing backstories that I'd like to share with you, and these are the guys that I believe we're going to be following over the course of this franchise. So let's go with the guy that I've been talking about at the top this whole time, Corey Hamm. 21-year-old third baseman from Ohio, but he played his college ball at Florida State. This is a guy that you could liken to a James Tibbs, who just came through Florida State and was recently drafted by the Giants in the 2024 draft class. He's going to be really good with the bat, especially with being able to draw a number of walks, and has enough power to start every day in the lineup. Long term is likely a move to second base, because the defense is where his game lacks the most. Give him a year to a year and a half in the minors, and he should be ready to go in the show. Another guy I like at the top of the board is Andreas Cedeno, 21-year-old left-handed starting pitcher, originally from Puerto Rico, but played his college ball at Miami after not getting drafted out of high school. This is a guy that will have a ton of arm strength with a fastball in the mid-90s. His repertoire is one that is similar to many starters today, with a curveball that is plus, which is basically an elite curveball, and sits in the mid-80s. He's got a circle change that is in the upper 80s, and a cutter in the mid to upper 90s, which could give batters fits if that pitch is able to develop. Steven Acevedo is a 20-year-old right-handed starting pitcher from the junior college ranks, pitching for Crowder Junior College in Texas. This is a guy that's going to have a live arm, has high potential. If you can get him to command and control his pitches, that's something that we see a lot out of junior college talents that tend to throw really hard, have a live arm, can throw in the upper 90s. I'm not sure if Acevedo will throw in the upper 90s, because we're going to need to work on getting the command and the control down, which means he might have to lose some velocity in order to gain some control and command. But he is a late rising arm that you'll definitely want to keep an eye on. It could be tough to get him to sign away from his Tennessee commitment, as he is set to head to Knoxville out of the transfer portal. Next up, I want to talk about a guy that I think no one is really going to be in on, but we can be, and that is Larry Karnitz. He's an 18-year-old right-handed starting pitcher from Pennsylvania who comes from Malvern Prep, who has turned out guys like Lonnie White Jr., who is one of the Pirates' top prospects, Fran O'Shell III, who was a 12th rounder of the Angels out of Duke in this past draft, and Tage Davis, who went undrafted and is set for his freshman season at Louisville. Malvern has done a great job at developing right-handed arms and appears to have done the same with Karnitz. It's a little surprising that most teams don't know about the righty, who has excellent command of his pitches, which includes an impressive curveball. His meteoric rise late in the process will remind people of Frank Mazzucato, who was a first-rounder of the Royals in 2021, as well as Josh Noth, a competitive balance selection of the Brewers in 2023. Another guy who there might not be a lot of people in on is Carlos Aquino. He's an 18-year-old outfielder originally from Venezuela, who moved to the States to play his high school ball at Calvary Christian Academy in Florida. Another late riser in the process. Not much is known about him industry-wide, as scouts were there to see other prospects from the school, but I clocked him after an outstanding game that saw him go 4 for 5 with 2 home runs, 3 stolen bases, and an outfield assist in defense. Because he's so young and the measurables aren't all that impressive, I can't nail down just how good he'll be. But if he fills into his body, picks up some weight, grows a couple more inches, and has more games like I saw at a more consistent level, he could be really good. Since he's been under-recruited, he'll head to Florida Southwestern State to play JUCO ball for the Buccaneers. Xavier Hay is an 18-year-old second baseman from the high school ranks in Alabama. This is a player that the industry isn't high on either, but I think there could be something there. He's got enough of a bat that I think can play on an MLB bench at the very least. You can also count on him to steal some bases, and the fielding is superb for the position. Should he not sign, he'll head to Auburn as the headliner of the Tigers recruiting class. Luke Gonzalez, 21-year-old shortstop, and John Gonzalez, 21-year-old third baseman. 2 cousins who played their college ball at Rutgers, holding down the left side of the infield for the Scarlet Knights. For Luke, the bat started to show some progression in his junior season, but he garnered all-conference honors for his glove, which was unmatched across the Big Ten. John, on the other hand, has more upside with his bat and hits his fair share of home runs. Scouts are a bit concerned with his strikeout numbers, and I am too, for the Scarlet Knights, but the power is palpable and is definitely worth a high selection. Next, I want to talk about Alvaro Prado, an 18-year-old second baseman from California, from a long line of athletes from Junipero Serra High School. Prado is a guy that hit a whopping .423 as a senior for the Lions in the prep ranks. He's committed to play at Oregon, should he not sign, and the Ducks could have a guy who could go even higher in the draft here in a couple years. Did some late work on Brandon Maynard, a 22-year-old outfielder from Sam Houston State University, ranked 3rd on my big board. You want a direct comp? Try Colton Cowser of the Orioles. You're looking at elite speed with a very impressive bat. I didn't get to see enough of him to say that I'm completely sold on his skill set, but he could potentially be one of the first players in this class to get to the bigs. Next, we'll talk about Dan Grantham, 21-year-old shortstop originally from Pennsylvania, but played his college ball at the University of Michigan. This is a guy that I've seen mocked to the Athletics a lot, being that he plays so similarly to players already in the A system. My main issue with Grantham, I just don't believe that there will be enough bat long-term for him to be an everyday starter. Still a first-round talent and an option with the first pick, but the bat is a pretty serious concern for me. I want to go back to the high school ranks to talk about a guy that I didn't get to see a lot of, but I'm really impressed with. Aaron Sexton, 18-year-old left-handed starting pitcher who, though originally from Pennsylvania, transferred to IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida to finish his prep career. He is a player that I think has real upside in this class, though it might take him a while to realize it. The thing that intrigues me the most is his ability to throw a forkball, which you just don't see much in today's age. He also appears to have a really nasty slider. And the final player that I want to talk a little bit about is a guy that I think is a second-round option, that being Xavier Naidoo, 22-year-old outfielder from the University of Evansville. Comes from a brand of high-speed, high-on-base outfielders from the Purple Aces program. In 2015, the New York Mets took another player with a similar mold out of Evansville, an outfielder Kevin Kazmarski. I'm not sure Naidoo has that kind of bat and on-base skills, but there's enough similarities there to have intrigue. Those are some of the players that I found to be most intriguing in this class. Obviously, I'm going to miss on some players, but I'm also impressed with a number of players in this class, and I think that this class presents a great opportunity for the Athletics to have a nice draft from top to bottom. Those late round picks might be a little bit challenging. When I look at the board versus our picks, I think there are enough options with those first 4 picks to take real difference makers. Now it's on you to make the right picks. Back to you, Steve.
Thank you for giving us that little bit of draft analysis, Clay. Boy, does he know ball. And we're basically being co-managers at this point, so I don't really know how to fix that. But like I said, next video, we are going to show off the draft. We are going to show off all of our trade deadline acquisitions because we made so many, which is insane. I don't think any MLB team has even come close to that number. But that's what we're gonna do in our next video. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned to Second Level Sports. And I really appreciate those of you that have found me so far. If you haven't, if you're not a part of the group yet, just go down and subscribe. It's a lot of fun here. We're gonna be racking up some brand new videos here soon. I'm gonna start cranking out athletics. We've got a wrestling promotion on its way. We've got a Seattle Supersonics dynasty on its way. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But I appreciate you guys coming by. I've been Steve. This is Second Level Sports. And remember, God made you special and he loves you very much. See y'all next time.